everyone, and welcome to Play Dicely After Party. My name is Christy Clow, and I am here today to pick the brains of my fellow castmates and our wonderful DM. Of last week's Play Dicely episode, this is going off to a very good start. Episode 20, Reunion and Revelry. Let us begin.
You all right, buddy?
What just happened?
I'm good.
First question is, what's going on?
We have a good energy.
Orion is falling from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
I mounted a chair on the side of a plane.
Yeah. Just a typical Thursday.
There's
Typical Thursday for
something on the
Ryan.
wing.
I mean, that's a choice.
Something.
I don't understand what's happening, but
There's.
You know what? This is great. Nice to come in with a little bit of a fun banter.
is this fun? I feel like it's just Ryan saying things that I don't understand.
Denny, I got your
Manifesting.
reference.
Thank you.
I got your reference, Denny. It was a good reference.
All right, well. So this episode began. We're doing good. What is our energy right now? It's interesting for sure.
Like we had like 2 fun episodes in a row. I think
now
we're
we're
all
all-
feeling good.
We're all like a
Every
little slap
episode
happy.
of Dicely is fun, Dallas. They're all
Yeah.
fun.
Right. No, of course
I guess you
they're
mean
all
like
fun,
not like
but, like,
traumatizing.
nothing bad has happened in 2 full episodes now.
Oh, so you're saying we're due then?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean
absolutely.
we're definitely winding
Next
up to something
episode.
for sure. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I guess what's our plan next episode? Barrel race and corn maze. Probably that'll take
Darts.
4 hours, and then darts for sure is going to take at least an hour. So
Barrel
nothing bad
race
can happen
for
next.
4 hours.
They'll race while throwing darts. What could go wrong?
Oh, okay, we can do it all together. That's true. That'll speed it up.
Hell yeah.
So this episode began as we continued to take part in all of the various Heroes Fest activities. First up being the arm wrestling competition. And once again, I'm just going to be kind of talking through what happened and y'all can just chime in. So we got to experience 2 new, very fun NPCs and 1 recurring favorite. First of which was the Frizz, which was also Nell's first crush.
I don't think I like that for now. I think you could do better.
I mean, I'm not interested in it going anywhere. I just think it's funny because I just imagine I'm like, I don't think it's something that ever she was interested in her village at all. And not really something she ever thinks about on the whole. So it's just kind of fun to like play that for laughs. But anyway.
So to get out of your little town.
Yeah, it's too, I'm sure people do get married within the village, but to me it feels like everyone's kind of family. So pass on that.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. And then we got to continue the lineage of dwarves that are now going to make an appearance at every festival as well. So we got Porrick's cousin Gorick, which is great. And the sad halfling child finally got a name, Barnaby. And he managed to win several rounds by having a truly astonishing, pathetic stat of 20.
Poor kid.
Yeah, I'm excited to see his arc. I think he's gonna do a lot. It's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
He's got a lot.
He's gonna be the hero. This kid's got it in the making.
That's
Campaign's
true.
not even about us.
He's gonna show up when we're fighting a dragon or something, and he's just gonna die.
No, he's gonna
No.
tame the dragon. Maybe he's the dragon whisperer.
He's gonna
Although to be honest,
Neville
I'm mad that it's
Longbottom
not
this.
me.
Maybe
Yeah.
he is a
Okay,
dragon.
yeah.
Maybe he's a half dragon. We just haven't realized it.
Whoa,
Hmm.
wild.
It's just an ancient dragon
I'm interested.
Could be.
masquerading as a
Explain some things.
Again, there was a lot in my research about sorcerers that was specifically about the draconic bloodline style of sorcerer. So I just feel like that's going to come up, and maybe it's him. Maybe he is, got some draconic blood in him, and who knows how that's going to go.
Well,
We just have to wait for there to be a charisma-based event so that we can roll his charisma, and we'll know for sure.
What didn't he use a charisma stat for the magic contest? Or did they do, I guess they did,
No, they would have had to.
everybody had to.
What? I was trying to think. It's there's deception and intimidation. My brain was coming up with the stat desperation, which is not wrong, but not what I was trying to say.
I like
I
it.
want a desperation
Yeah,
stat.
Okay,
this
we
kid
need to
needs
make-
to roll some desperation
Yeah.
checks.
He needs a custom character page. If you can work on that for us, Danny. I know you're not very busy, so
Yeah. just help through a whole
so he's got pathetic. Although if you want to reword that in a way that sounds more kind of on par with like 5e, and then desperation, tears, probably. We'll brainstorm off camera because we want it to be a surprise for the audience. Of
Cool.
course.
Yeah. Downloadable for anybody who follows our Patreon, which doesn't yet fully exist.
Oh, but would be fantastic
Wait,
when
fully?
once we launch it.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. We were in the car when Denny and I were first talking about this ages ago in the summer.
Really?
Years ago.
No, I think for Patreon, I remember talking about specifically like after Logan's birthday.
Oh, anyway.
A little bit. Anyways, this is not relevant to anyone else.
I was not there.
Yet. But anywho, so the results of the arm wrestling contest. Nell came in third, Abe came in second, and the Frizz came in first, which I feel like Denny was hoping wouldn't happen.
Yep. I think we were all hoping that wouldn't happen, actually.
Yeah.
The Frizz was rolling like a god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, holy
Dallas
fuck,
just
Dallas.
couldn't roll less than what, a 20?
No, I was rolling, 17s through 20s pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Also, I realized just now, Nell got third place. She should have had to have faced against the child.
No, Abe knocked the child out.
But that was the semifinals.
Oh, I see. I don't know
That
how
child got
sports works.
screwed.
You know what? I wouldn't have let him win. So
I demand justice for the child. Barnaby needs justice.
Roll a d20.
yeah.
Think I will.
Yeah. I was anyone actually surprised like how that contest panned out? Because
I was so surprised.
yeah.
By all accounts, Abe should have beat the Frizz.
Abe should have won.
But
yeah.
Dallas had some strokes of pure luck.
Yeah.
Your noise gate is
I don't
chopping
know.
your voice up. You need to stay close to your mic.
Oh, sorry. She was just having bouts of pure luck that were not quitting. So
Yeah.
That was
No one
unfortunate.
beats the Frizz.
I should have just used
with the
Malden.
Frizz, no way.
You should have used Malden.
Yeah, shit.
Should have just been like, I'll rage for this.
Oh god. Oh, is that
I'm
what you
surprised
meant?
you didn't.
I understand now, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know what you were talking about
Yeah,
either.
I didn't. I just thought it was kind of. I didn't realize there was like a mechanic behind what you were saying with that. That makes sense that you meant not raging.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't realize you considered the rage element as like a gift of Malden. Makes sense.
Oh,
though.
totally.
Yeah.
It's
Because I never really
literally
got into, like,
Malden's
the
power. That emboldens Abe.
True. Wow.
Yeah. When he does it, he possibly gets possessed.
Sometimes. Almost every time.
Yeah.
That's something you roll for?
Depends on what we're fighting.
Okay.
Depends on how worthy
Well-
they are.
Can you elaborate on this a little? I feel dumb because it seems pretty obvious, but I've never put that together, which is not good.
Well, early on, I rolled every time because Abe didn't really exist beyond one-word sentences. But just as he grew as an individual, and as we also faced combat that wasn't as deadly, it's like less necessary to be having someone else take control of the body. So
Is there like a table that you roll to see who would take over, or is it kind of just like there's one assumed thing that would happen?
there was a table at first,
Interesting.
Oh.
and then that
Okay.
kind of flowed away.
All right. Well,
Very interesting.
yeah, that's. I'm really annoyed with myself that I didn't like pick up on that, but
Well,
you know. Yeah.
so there were 4 options every time, but for the first 3 times I did it, I rolled for the beast.
Yeah, which is
So-
why that became so heavily present.
Yeah, because that was all I was rolling.
So was it the 4 acolytes then?
Yeah.
But one of them is just the chosen, isn't that right?
Well, yeah, it would have been the previous personality of the chosen. Yeah.
Oh, that reminded me of something.
That's really cool.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Fucking neat.
And then I rolled like 3. I think it was 3 was the number for the beast, and I just kept rolling 3s every time I raged. It's like, okay, fine.
The number of the beast.
The dice have spoken.
Interesting.
Exactly.
I didn't have this written down, but we talked a bit about in this episode. What if we polymorphed Abe or something? Did that conversation happen? What did we
Yes.
want it to accomplish? That he could drink or something?
to
like
be
that?
to be able to experience like taste and smell again.
Right. Again, there was a lot happening, so I didn't want to bring this up in the episode. But one of my questions on my like lore document, for Abe specifically, is when you were in your previous body. I'm assuming the the soul shard didn't exist. So how were the souls collected? And then it kind of tied in. I'm like, if you're polymorph, like what happens, to them? Like, I mean, it's kind of like the same style. Like when you get polymorph, like your clothes don't like just no longer exist. Like they're just kind of hidden away, I suppose. So I suppose it's along that logic. But anyway, I don't know if that was a question. It's fine.
There won't
Just an
be
interesting
answers to
thought.
those yet.
I know there won't. Okay.
Okay, who here can learn polymorph? You can, Christy.
Oh my
So,
god, in so
Level
many
up
years.
that sorcerer.
I am literally trying. I'm just waiting. I'm like chomping at the bit to be freaking leveled up at this point. I'm like, after every episode, I'm like, we didn't do anything really, so I would love to level up.
I can't even justify it.
Because then I could finally hit level 18 one of my stats, and then yeah, it would be fun. I guess we did just kind of just level up, right? Because I just got meta magic.
But like 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just
but
haven't had any fights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in campaign it was only like 3 days ago or something, because
Yeah.
it was right after all of the terrible no good, very bad evening. So why wasn't that the episode title?
Such a good title.
Why? Okay. Well, to be
We
fair, we're
gotta-
definitely gonna have another one. So
Yeah, we
Yeah,
gotta save
that's
that.
next
Sure.
episode's title.
Save that for when 3 of us die.
Yeah.
When this
Terrible-
dragon gets all let
Yeah.
loose.
Uh-huh.
it's only horse sized. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
We'll be okay.
Still,
Well,
a
It's a
dragon.
baby
Oh, yeah,
dragon.
you know-
Got a breath weapon.
It's a young dragon.
We talked about that after the fact, but we didn't say it in an episode. Yeah, so the dragon is only like large category size, so it's like the main body is like the size of a horse, but then you account for like the length of the neck, the length of the tail, the wings on top of that, and that's still a pretty massive creature.
And then you account for the poison breath as we're all standing in a nice little cluster.
Which is
Yeah.
massive.
And then we're all dead.
It's fine. It's gonna be my
We've
friend.
got health potions now. We're okay.
Yeah, we each have 1 health potion, so we cannot be
And a
fucked with.
salve.
Yeah, and a
Also,
salve.
Salve.
Sad.
Ointment.
It's
Some
an ointment.
lotion.
Also, remember,
It's ointment you
dragons.
can eat.
Dragons don't have to land when they fight you.
Well, we know that I have fly now, so Abe, I'm gonna get up in the sky, fight the dragon. You got this.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I
wait, why
cast
do
it in
we
the-
know that?
Because I
Oh,
cast
of
it in
course.
the
Oh.
Gideon flew.
I
True,
flew.
true. Look, a lot happened during that, and we'll get there, but we're not there yet. so.
Christy, control us. Let's get back.
I'm trying. I'm trying to control myself also.
I have a question for,
Oh god.
I guess, Teni. It's about Abe.
Okay, that's fine.
If we were to cast Alter Self on, or if Abe somehow found a way to cast Alter Self on himself, would he be able to change his like physiology so that he could taste?
I don't know if I have an in-canon answer for that. I'd probably leave that up to Adam, actually, and then base the canon on his opinion of that.
I don't know Alter Self well enough to.
Yeah, I've never
Okay.
actually
Not
used that spell.
technically within the confines of the spell,
Yeah.
but
You like,
like a
Oh,
non-damage dealing
Sorry,
change.
I'm
that you
thinking
could
of
make.
like one of the ones that like completely changes you to a different race and stuff like that.
Oh, reincarnate.
yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I think
know if
it's-
I think Alter Self, like that spell really doesn't allow for as much creativity in its application. It's like, give yourself natural weapons, give yourself the ability to breathe underwater, or what is it, change your appearance?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
so I don't think we'd play too much with the parameters of that spell. But like those specific things, they likely work on Abe if he should somehow acquire that spell. So I don't think you even need to breathe.
No, I don't believe so.
Multi-class into wizard. Here we go.
Oh man. Okay, back on track. Here we go. After the arm wrestling competition, we headed over to the Apple Point Park for the opening ceremony of Heroes Fest.
Oh, sorry. I have another question about
Oh
the
my good God.
arm wrestle.
Continue.
Sorry, it's more about the rewards from it because Dallas's buff Frizz was very kind and gave away the first place prize. But
Oh,
the second place prize,
keep on
What?
your mic.
got to be like right on it, huh?
Oh,
Eat
jeez,
that
yeah.
thing.
Yes, sir.
The first place prize was given away by the Frizz,
Yeah.
but the second place prize was a broken sword. That whenever a broken sword shows up in a D&D game, I mean, come on, dude, that's something.
Yep.
You're gonna have to go talk.
So
to
we
the
got to go
Frizz.
find this Frizz and get that sword.
I'll seduce
We'll
her.
never be able to complete the main quest now.
Oh,
She
no.
has the key item.
No.
MacGuffin.
Damn.
She has the McMuffin.
Yes, because I said, in order to progress in this game, one of these characters must achieve second place.
That is the
I bet you
most
she has 4
important.
crystals in her pocket too. There's always crystals.
Could you imagine if that's the parameter you set? Like, I have one plot hook and it is hidden in the
Second
second
place.
prize of the arm wrestling competition.
Oh, you know what they
And I
say?
will
First is the
not
worst,
change
second
it.
is the best.
Hmm.
It's fine, guys. You got the ashes of a dead hero. The quest is fine. You can proceed.
But we
I'm gonna
don't
find
have
that
his or
arm.
her sword.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, if we had the sword when we bring them back to life, then they're going to kill us now, because if they had the weapon, they would have been our friend, but we don't, so.
We also have to find their arm.
Find their arm.
I don't know they're
What's
missing an arm.
happening?
I don't know, guys. What?
I just like the idea that Teni like rolled for these random trinkets. Like the broken sword was on that same table that the ashes was in, and we came up with the idea of this hand, but that throughout this town's like whole festival, there is just the body of a person being given out as prizes.
It seems like it's not very like
It's such a-
sustainable, because like if they have this every year, like
It's
where do they
crazy
keep?
year.
Yeah, where do they
And
keep getting
how-
all these heroes?
How many
body
heroes
parts?
just walked into town?
Oh. And it's like freaking Reeve Grand is like, oh, we have new heroes that saved the town.
It's a
There's
conspiracy.
badges. Don't
I
use your
knew I couldn't
locate
trust
item
them.
spells, everybody.
Oh god.
Going to hire an assassin to kill them in their sleep and bring them to the morgue, and then we shall burn them and sell them next year.
Oh, that's devious. I love it.
What a way to go.
Not a bad business plan.
It's like if a mind flayer ran a hospital. Very devious.
Yeah.
I have that in my world.
Makes sense.
Yes. Evil.
So,
Along the way, we encounter folks spouting anti-ascendancy propaganda. It's starting to feel that the number of folks that we are encountering, just kind of like random NPCs that are anti-ascendancy, is growing. Like, I feel like Denny's kind of peppering in more experiences with these. I know it's always just kind of been just in Valenbridge as of currently, but I wonder what it speaks to, like how large of a net like Carjack has cast, and like if this movement is like kind of steadily growing. It's making me nervous. So
Yeah. Yeah, their rhetoric is getting out there. It's getting out there. I don't like that.
well, because I'm curious like what it means, like if he has like agents on the ground that are spreading this, and like Like, how long did it
100%.
take, or like, is it like kind of, has it always been kind of like a really hot button like issue that people are like have wanted to get up into arms about, but haven't had the correct like leadership for it? So I don't know.
This is my like theory, but I assume that ever since that crystal was destroyed, there have been people against the ascendancy, like since day one.
Oh,
Because
for
like
sure.
people were forced out of their homes to fight in a war they may or may not have even believed in. And at the end of the day, that makes people upset. So, I mean, Draq was a hero of said war, but still a war. So
When we saw those people doing their protests, were there like guards around being like, "Hey, shut off, go somewhere else," or were they just letting it down?
dude, how do you do that? How do you transform into a Decepticon like that? That's real neat.
Well, we've really got to figure out these sound effects.
Someday.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
That's so neat.
But we did hear the question. So were there guards around to be like, "Hey, shove off"? There were guards present. Most of them were mostly preoccupied with like making sure people weren't fighting in the seats, and unfortunately they were like positioned to like ushers and like kind of scanning people, like nobody's bringing weapons into the amphitheater, that kind of thing. It's like as long as people are just yelling their rhetoric, they'd probably just be like, you can say whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody. Like if things start to get rowdy, then we'll have to intervene.
Here's what I think. I think we should take one of those, like, I don't even know what they're called. Shouty people who
Yeah.
really like spreading bad rhetoric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those guys. We should take them into an alleyway, maybe get a bat and kneecaps and, you know, maybe ask them a few questions, you know, like, hey, why are you hanging out with this guy who should be dead? And, like, why are you high-fiving this dude in the background?
Yeah, that
Thanks.
seems pretty on the ball with like our group's moral compass. So
Very lawful, yes.
mhm.
The-
yeah, we should do that.
I'm pretty sure we
Totalitarian,
did this 4 episodes
Abe,
ago.
Abe broke into
ascendancy.
we broke into a restaurant. All right,
Because we were
we beat people up in an alleyway?
Yeah. I
only
was gonna say
because
that.
only
Yeah,
because
but they were bad people.
they were attacking
so
someone.
are these guys.
No. Okay.
I don't know that.
No.
You don't know that.
The
She's
previous-
actually probably just a person.
They're trying to make Cthulhu enter the. Whatever.
What?
Okay, Nella's already been through this moral quandary. The previous time in the alleyway, it was the 2 members of the Mary Hall gang, like going after that like corrupt dragonborn merchant. And so we ended up actually like after like Draq like knocked one out, we ended up siding with the Mary Hall gang people, and so the one guy got fucking obliterated, which sucked because I liked him. I thought we could have been friends, but
Yeah, real bad.
but that was already like a thing of just being like in those situations, like how do you know? And that's why that was the night that Nell like fucked off to the clock tower, because she was like, how the fuck do you know what is correct anymore? Like it's not cookie cutter, and it's really annoying. But I do think if we were just to pull someone who was just literally just shouting into an alleyway and then beat them up, I do think I would have a bit more of a clear viewpoint on whether or not that was good or bad.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you know, Gideon is like a shattered man. So
Just don't tell Nell about it.
And Balesville's like a shattered place. You know
But,
who's
like-
probably responsible for that? That Draq guy.
Probably.
You know what?
Here, though,
There's a chance though that this guy who was just preaching though isn't even involved with it. Like there could just be anti-ascendancy, like, you know,
You're so
Yeah.
right.
people who are down on their luck, and you know they've just seen that the ascendancy. It's like, great, there's rich people there who have all the stuff, and I have nothing.
Fine.
we didn't see any like, what?
What? Oh, I was just laughing. What?
Oh, you're just laughing. Okay, I thought I went Decepticon mode and you were laughing at that.
No, you're good.
Okay,
No, I was
we
pouting.
didn't see any like insignias of the Midnight Sun on these protesters, so
That is correct.
I rolled pretty well on my perception check, I think.
Yeah, like
Really recall.
up to this point, like everybody you've encountered who's been doing all this kind of stuff, there has been no like symbolic connection with what you associate with Draq Mithril Cult.
And that's the thing that I think is interesting to me, because I'm like, it's hard to say if is like his grasp extending, or if it's just like not necessarily like fully unrelated, but I don't know. It's another
What
part
I-
that we're not going to know for sure until it's too late, probably.
I think it's the. I do think currently, I think you're right now. Like, I think it's unrelated, but they've got the foundation laid out for Carjack to just stroll in and be like, hey, I'm kind of your Jesus. So you should, like, you know, be my friend.
Yeah.
Except for we have Jesus on our side, i.e., Abe.
That's correct. We got murdered
He's the
Jesus on our
chosen
team.
of a religion who, when died, came back to life.
You know?
That's right.
You make an excellent point.
We have
And
murdered Jesus.
famously killed people for God. So
My favorite part
Stole
is
their
when
souls.
Jesus crushed a man's head coming out of a fireball.
yeah.
I also loved when he ripped a dude in half and
Yeah.
bathed in his blood. That was great.
Yeah, that was really
That was
fun.
in the
That's my
Psalms,
favorite
I
part of
think.
the Bible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Amazing.
Wow. Okay. Upon arriving at the park, we were able to use our hero tokens to get VIP treatment and prime seating at the ceremony, which I thought was very cool because that for sure has never happened to Nell before. The Reeve Grand takes the stage and gives us kind of a vague accommodation, which is good because we did not want to be called out. Although part of me, like the part of me who's not playing like Nell was just like, oh, I would have loved to be shouted out. Would have been so cool.
Well, I guess we all got on stage the next day anyways, so maybe it doesn't really matter.
But we didn't have like we didn't get on stage being like the like liberators
true.
of Valenbridge, you know.
That's true.
So I think it's more so like that's what we were keeping out of it, that we were the ones that dispelled like, the crime occurrences.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway,
Yeah, we were Team Intellect and the Salesman. We weren't saviors of the world.
exactly. But because we haven't earned that one yet, the Sabers of the World, we're
We'll
getting
get
there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and then Mary Miss came on stage with the cool bardic orchestra and put on this awesome performance that was so visual. Like I really loved how you described it, Denny. Like drawing out those images. Was that inspired by something from Strixhaven? Because or have you actually not read that?
Crap, it was inspired by something, and I don't actually recall what it was, but I have not gone through the Strixhaven book yet.
Okay, I did read part of it, but I can't remember everything now. But there is like part, like one of the things, it's like using like music or something to like to have like images and stuff like that, I think.
Well, I mean, like, firstly, the idea originally, when I was like looking for magic items to gift to you guys, and I found the instruments of illusion, I was like, oh, this is great. They're a common item. Let's put a few in the band. Make it this big spectacle. And I was like, I want to give Ryan one too. And so I knew that these things existed, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna use them and kind of give an example of what these things can do.
Literally
cool.
going to use that thing to hype everyone else up. It's literally what I'm going to do with it.
You should have freaking hopped on stage and just added it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
That's
sweet
an
solo.
idea.
I didn't have the sheet music.
Would have been freaking, oh my god, what is the Ron Burgundy? Your jazz flute. Oh my god, I wish. That would have been so funny. Yeah, I really thought the final image was the dwarf gnome and the human walking into the portal as the dragons were pursuing them. Is that Cardrack, Charity, and Arturos? Is that?
That is Cardrack, Faye Applebutter, and
Oh.
Pascalis the Brave.
Oh, who the fuck are those other two people?
Those were the original 3 heroes who found the crystal underground and escorted everyone to essentially safety from the dragons conquering the surface. Cardrack
Faye
is the only
Applebutter-
surviving member of those 3.
So wait, sorry. Who was the third person?
Sorry?
Who was the third person? Pascal something?
Pascalis the Brave.
Oh, I just muted myself. Have I heard of this person before?
I Have we talked about like
You
your
mentioned
knowledge
it.
of
I think we have.
desolation history?
No, that is actually something we need to clarify, like together, you and I, because I've been like playing it. Because me, the player, is having a really hard time remembering the details of it. So every time it's come up, I just like don't know because I've read the document. I just keep forgetting. But I'm like, I don't think I would completely like not know. It seems insane to me that I would be that sheltered. Like, you know, like obviously my father would have like been with the elves that like went, right? So there was like a certain, he would have had knowledge.
Well, if he left with the elves, he actually wouldn't have the
The
knowledge because
elves,
he'd be
I
in
don't
the
think know
wilder.
very much. Yeah.
Well, no, but like, I mean, when they came back, like it's not like it was like a secret, like what happened, right? Like,
No, that's fair. I mean, yeah, there are likely stories of like
Yeah.
these three heroes specifically. It's also why Draq's so big. So yeah, I mean, you would have definitely heard. I think we can say this now of those three: Faye Applebutter, Pescalis the Brave, and Draq Mithril Coat.
great.
At
Okay.
least in passing, because I think you were like, I kind of know who Draq was when we first introduced him
Yeah.
as a character.
And again, that was purely like, it's a character decision I have to fucking live with now, but it came from me as the player, truly not remembering like details because I hadn't like, the lore dog hadn't like sunk in yet. So I was like, I don't know.
It happens.
So,
But yeah, I don't know if this has come up either, but it probably has at some point. But Faye Applebutter was also the teacher of Charity Cozybug.
okay. Yeah. That one was familiar to me. So I did remember that. Okay. That's fine. I'm trying to like remember the history, but everyone else does not need to be a part of that. So, oh well. Is there like a in-universe like history book, like the quintessential like the events of the Desolation history book that's been written? Out of curiosity.
Hadn't
There
really
might
thought
be a
about
smut parody of it.
Oh my god.
Oh, then that is the one that I would like to read.
Bro
For
by
sure.
Knight.
Oh man.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Teni.
No, it's all good. I mean, there probably is some recording now, considering that after reestablishing a civilization and going, oh yeah, all of our records are gone, better start writing some shit. So it's probably there.
Back to the library.
Yeah, I just don't have a definitive name of what that collection of history would be called right now. Probably like, you know, something along the lines of, oh, the history of the Desolation and the rise of the Ascension. Or something along those lines.
Yeah, seems accurate. It never occurred to me actually that like record, like again, I think like the Desolation does not like register as much to me, and I think maybe that makes sense as being like a new adventure, just like, that was 50 years ago. But yeah, the concept that like the records would have been destroyed, and that like a lot of like the history we have now is either passed from like oral or like what people remembered, so it's all kind of newer in a sense. That's very interesting. I didn't really think about that.
You become more familiar when you're trying to research 3,000-year-old information about the creature that cursed you.
True.
Teni's constantly just like, nothing exists.
Oh man, that's so interesting. I guess it hasn't come up for Nell at all yet, so it hasn't occurred to me. I'm having a lot of realizations for some reason during this after party. I don't know why. Anywho, do you think either Rhea or Elwyn has ever attended kind of like either this specific like ceremony or just like an event at all like this? Because you guys have been obviously around for longer, so just curious.
Probably. I think like early on, probably we were like, you know, this has been going on every year since like civilization up here has been established. I was probably around for some of these, but not my jam.
Mm.
I mean, you guys did get asked this in an episode, and you both said no.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
now
I think I
Guess
canonically
not.
said I hadn't. But I think that makes sense. I don't like, because Elwyn didn't leave the Wilder immediately. This does not feel like a place she would necessarily want to be either. So, no, I think it makes sense that I have never been to this festival.
I mean,
Interesting.
we can rewrite that canon, Logan, if you think Azaria might have left Starshire at some point to come up for a visit.
Oh, I didn't mean like this one in particular. Christy was just like, have you been to a festival?
Oh,
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, probably. I'm 600 years old.
nope, never. You've never been to a party.
Never
You've
have.
Never done it.
Nah.
Yeah, that time I pulled you up to dance, that was the first time I'd ever danced and celebrated anything in life.
Oh my gosh, wow, I'm so honored. That's a lot of pressure though, so I don't know if I'm really ready for that commitment, but thanks anyways. Yeah, I guess for everyone then, because it hasn't really been like a common thing for either of you, what did your characters like feel or think about the experience from like just the overall performance, but also kind of being VIPs in that situation?
Are we going around the circle?
Anyone can just hop on in.
I think you were way more excited about this VIP thing than basically anyone else.
No, it just feels like, again, as someone who's like hasn't really like done a whole lot, like I think any like new experience feels novel, especially one that it's like clearly not an experience everyone else is having. Feels kind of interesting. So yeah, I think that's like all it was for now. It's just kind of like, oh wow, this is like fancy. So yeah. All right, I guess no one else had an opinion about that. Okay, moving on.
I thought we were going around the circle.
Going around the circle.
Well, then it would have been you, Anthony. Let's go.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay, so other than like the
Get up on
occasional...
that mic.
Get up.
Hi, welcome to Anthony After Dark. Other than the occasional festival back home, like there's not a whole lot of like individual celebration in Denmark.
This mic, man.
What?
This mic.
Yeah. It just does.
Audio's
Go.
Audio's a tricky creature.
It is.
It was so unfortunate because it was like working so well before we started.
The mic just has performance anxieties, guys. Just like be nice to it. Don't look at the mic.
Okay.
Huh?
I swapped to just the interface.
Bring it up.
Bringing it up.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Where was I? Yeah, so other than like the occasional festival for the community, there isn't really like a individual celebration in Darrokarth. It's mostly community based. So this was definitely a special, very exciting situation for Draq.
And yeah.
Oh, I was like, yeah, the VIP badges were, I think, a bit like much for Rhea. And there was definitely that moment where I was like, guys, are we just abusing this? Like, we don't need to throw this down every time something comes up. But it was like fun. I think they had like a good time. I don't know how they felt about the magic competition. Logan the player fucking loved it. That was so much fun. Rhea the character, I think there's like this like tinge of like annoyance the whole time, being like, not the main spellcaster, can't do that. Fuck this place.
True. Yeah, I can understand that for sure.
That makes sense. Yeah, the whole badge thing, Gideon was like, ooh, shiny things. That's neat. Thanks for giving me some status. I can't flex it at all. It's a nice gesture. So, getting the good seats was like, okay, it's worth. We did it. We saved the city. It's worth. I got front row seats.
Yeah, kind of the same. Like, we don't. I think also Abe is painfully aware that we have a very potent assassin nearby, presumably. So we're just drawing a lot of attention to ourselves inadvertently. But I mean, the opening ceremonies were certainly incredible. Obviously, Abe's never seen anything like that. And the parade and everything, the spectacle was a lot. I think Abe just doesn't like crowds, and so that obviously detracts a fair bit for him.
Unless he's mad, then he loves crowds.
Abe doesn't. Other people might.
That's not Abe, yeah.
Very interesting. So after the ceremony, I had a bit of a conversation between Nell and Azaria about the qualifications needed to be a teacher at the ArcNet, which I really like that conversation. It was like made me happy because
So sweet.
yeah, just like oh my god, Ria's such a good like mentor. It's so nice.
It's like they were a teacher once upon a time.
But yeah, it's cool to see like what the potential like possibilities of that could be if I don't die. Because yeah, I think like it would be really fun like to have that be kind of like the full circle for now, to eventually like work with some sort of like either teaching or in the library. I would love that. Cool. And then after that, we went out and drank a bunch. And then Teni used a self-insert NPC to bully Abe and I into arm wrestling. Did you get what you wanted from that, Teni?
I feel like not only did I, but also the yearning audience who was stolen of a great 1v1 character opportunity, which we missed out on thanks to a very frizzy-haired ginger who stole the competition.
Yeah, you just really wanted to see me and Abe fight. Is that it?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
It could still happen, but for real, like, and then I think the same situation would happen, which I lose. So,
And then the frizz comes out of nowhere and kills you both.
whoa.
She comes in with a steel chair.
That would be a twist. That'd be very interesting.
My
Oh,
girl,
man.
I
I think
hope.
someday, far down the line,
No.
a free-for-all would be interesting. Like
Yeah.
a non-canon or canon in an alternate dimension. I don't know.
We always
That would
said that
be-
about Logan's last campaign, that we should have done a like out of canon free for all.
Yeah.
That's because two of you built your characters to kill each other.
I have
I
no
was
idea what you're
so
talking
ready.
The
to
two
kill
of
you.
them being in this conversation right now.
about. I would have won.
I don't think you would have. I think we can still have this fight.
All right, break it down for me. What was your respective classes?
Rogue fighter.
And
15 rogue, 5 fighter.
Okay.
10-10 artificer fighter, gunslinger.
Okay.
I designed the character to be an ATV. I was a master of land, air, and water.
Well, I had the magic sword that knew spells that no one knew about. Just in the off occasion that I had to kill you, and you didn't know my sword was full of spells.
And critted on a 19.
Oh, 19.
Well, that would be interesting to do kind of like a battle royale. That's what Critical Role does. Like when they do their battle royales, it's like an alternate reality like thing so that they can all fight each other. It's actually one tonight.
Oh, really?
But it's
nice.
like it's with all like the various guest stars. So that's kind of fun.
Cute, yeah.
But yeah, so that'd be kind of cool. I would want to do it like at a higher level though, like once
Yeah.
we've hit.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
it would be kind of cool to do it like before we actually hit that level as like a little taste of like what's to come, you know? That'd be cool. Yeah. Because they had like what I just like thinking of like some of the abilities that people would get that would make them really OP. I'd be interested to see that.
Y'all would murder me.
I was gonna say, I don't know
Every
if I ever get
single
to a
one of
point where I
you.
can win fights.
I mean, of course, all of you would be worthy in that fight.
Ooh, yeah,
That
we
could
would
be
be
the,
in real
It
trouble.
would just be
Beam
Mountain's Thunderdome.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Like if we find what is it? The Eternal Challengers, we could just kind of like have some fun.
Yeah.
All kill each other.
Beat the tar out of each other. Yeah.
Have fun.
Just wait till I get my gun upgrade, all right?
Yeah.
Gotta get to
Hopefully,
roll
I
out
have divine
first.
intervention by then.
That way I can damage Abe through his rage.
True.
Old.
I can make one of you kill me faster.
There's a strategy.
Here you go, buddy.
Just take me out.
That's all I got.
But in
Interesting.
the end, because Azaria told you to do it, did Azaria win?
That's the real
Maybe-
power.
Maybe
It's like-
morally, but not the
Not
competition.
physically.
Yeah, it's like Obi-Wan in Star Wars Episode 4. You
That's
just
true.
force ghost.
It's a reference that is
That's,
beyond.
when I
me.
die next time, I'm coming back as a ghost.
Hmm.
Fun.
Then Denny let the script out.
Oops, my bad. I mean,
man.
Blue Harvest, episode 4.
A reference, a spicy one.
Yeah, big nerd dives. Anyway,
I don't know
so
what the
you guys
fuck
fought
you're
in an arm
talking
wrestle.
about,
Blue
yeah.
Harvest is Star Wars.
But anyways, and then we went and saw the parade. And there we got to see some of the floats of the other heroes. For Logan, Ryan, and Adam, what was it like to be able to describe the floats of your former characters?
I got real hyped up. I was so excited.
You did.
Uh,
Yeah.
I did not expect that. It caught me off guard. And then when Denny brought up my familiar was there, I completely forgot that my previous character had a familiar, even though I fucking loved that familiar. So when he brought up Spike, I was like, oh, yeah! So that was great. Honestly, this is like I think this is the first time in a campaign where I've had, like it's been a campaign after a campaign that previously finished, and like my characters have actually been like part of the world history. So that was a completely new experience for me. So that was why I was so hyped. I was like, this is so wicked. So yeah, I was freaking out.
Yeah, it was. I mean, part of it made me like miss Saren so much. That's still like my favorite character I've ever played. So I was just like, I miss having disintegration. And in as we talked about Ryan re-remembering his familiar, I think that my float was very appropriate in that it didn't have my familiar that I had since like level 1. Since the first day of the campaign, I got a familiar and we forgot about it.
That poor little owl is still down there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was also, it always was like something I tried to rack my mind around. It was like, you guys have been underground for 250 years. How do you know what an owl is? I guess you're really smart. Sure, you're the only one who knows what this is, and everyone else is like, what the fuck is that?
This bright white owl that's underground.
Yeah.
Maybe
Go ahead,
like
Logan.
if we ever go underground though, here's my my canon thought head thing. Because Saren became a god, like they're still, alive. Maybe with their godly magic, that owl is still down there.
Aw. Let's go find that owl.
Let's go
Gotta
find
find
this
Go
owl.
save it.
It's just a level 20 owl. It's got like
Sad
really
existence.
jacked wings.
It's got barbarian class levels.
Wearing gauntlets of ogre strength and all the magic items you once had.
Yep. Gauntlets of ogre strength.
I could see it being like the owl in Avatar: The Last Airbender, the one in the library,
I love that character.
Oh my
guarding something
God.
for
so
Saren.
good.
Ah,
That would be
yes,
freaking
first
cool.
edition. Very nice.
Oh,
There's a little man in a box. He tells you the news.
that would be really cool. I would be very interested to have like an encounter like that, like an underground library. Very neat.
Yeah, that made me miss Miles as well. I really enjoyed Miles. I wasn't in the campaign as long as everybody else was, but I really had fun playing with you guys with that character. Fuck, what a rough start that character had, eh? It's getting killed by Arturos.
Yep.
Wow, that is quite the introduction.
Yeah.
For some context, I found Pascalis the Brave's sword that when you take damage, you turn into a berserk killing machine.
Wow.
Ryan was the first thing I saw in that state.
The newest party member.
The newest party member.
So
And,
then
like-
I also attacked him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that moment was what was like, oh, this would be a fun dynamic to do as a character full time. And then Abe was born.
Cannot confirm or deny.
Sure.
This, but more.
Abe's never attacked any of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you came
Yeah.
close. You almost went for an owl before you like blacked out.
Yeah.
So.
Because nobody attacked me. So my rage ended.
Oh.
All your fault, really.
Hey, look, next
I
fight we get
should've- I
into,
should've
last for
attacked.
forever though.
next fight we get
Just
into, if nobody
smoke.
attacks you, I'll just shoot you. All right? How
There you
about
go.
No. What?
This is such an
Hey,
excellent
catch.
idea for sure.
You just gotta punch yourself to stay raging.
Oh my
That's
god.
true, yeah. Just got to take damage.
Adam, did you answer the question about talking about your former character?
No, I didn't answer. It was fine. I mean, he's an older human fighter. I didn't really make him to look a particular way or anything. Wasn't very visually striking.
It was less about the visual, more just kind of like, was it fun to have like be able to like call back like to your former character? Like, because I think we've like mentioned it kind of in passing, but I think this is the first time like truly in game that it's been kind of getting to talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a little bit of a different experience for Adam because up to this point in the campaign, there have already been a lot of mentions of the Direct Arturos, considering he has had like a huge impact on the creation of the Ascendancy.
And he created the Arturian Knights. They're named after him.
Right.
He
Okay,
made
that's fair.
Abe's first axe.
He has
Great children's book, by the way.
Yeah, so Arturos has been quite present in the campaign so far. Do you feel like it's
true.
kind of been watering down with how often it comes up?
Watering down.
Like, I guess in your excitement, you're just like, okay, this is a fact at this point, and I've just accepted it.
I guess. I mean, he's part of the world, just like all the other characters are. And I mean, if we had a person who was devoted to the Arquette, it would be, just as impactful for Saren being there, right? Kind of thing.
So we're like, people don't know. Not everyone knows Saren. Like, it's not common.
We would
knowledge.
know.
We would.
And I don't believe Willela is working for the arcade, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, I really hope she is.
You should just pray to the Arquette and see what happens.
Also true.
For my own clarification, is the Arquette? What is that?
The Arquette
God
is
of magic.
the High Planetari's
Oh.
god of magic and knowledge.
Okay, and that's Saren.
As
Yeah,
far as
that's-
we know.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Good.
And then that's separate from the Arcanet Institute?
The Arcanet Institute is kind of a magic college and this is an odd situation. A magic college that kind of spawned under a religious following, and it kind of became its own sect. So there's still like religious roots to the Arcanet Institute, but it's not inherently a religious institution.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which would be how Saren would have wanted it.
Gonna say you love to see it.
So see, that's not like too unusual. Like I'm thinking of like kind of. I might be way off the mark here, but I feel like U of T, like the different colleges there, like some of them have like certain, like, I think there is kind of like a Catholic vibe to it. At least like, from the way I was describing it, like the one college,
sure.
like they put on robes and they eat together, and I'm like,
You guys
Right,
don't
yeah.
do that?
So they're
I do that, but typically everyone gives me a funny look when I bring my dinner robe with me everywhere I go.
yeah. So
McDonald's.
It is kind of a similar thing with the Arcanet Institute. Also, for everybody out there, U of T is University of Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was UAFT, but okay.
Oofed.
Woofed.
Yeah, one of the other floats we saw was Cardrack's float, and like we didn't really talk about it too much in the episode, but it does bring up the question, like, how difficult do we think it's going to be to convince people of what we know to be the truth about Cardrack, whoever it might be, if it is
I was
him
gonna say,
or not?
do we know it's Cardrack? Do we know it's the truth?
Don't, but we don't, but we also we in character don't know about the doppelganger thing.
Yeah.
Which is like, to me, is such like a hanging axe above our heads, because
But we do
like,
know that he's way too old.
yeah, we know that
character.
part. But again, like, I don't know, on the whole, it seems like not too many people are like super, I guess we haven't really talked about about it with too many people. But yeah, for the most part, people don't seem super concerned. This is kind of off topic, but it's tangentially related. It was a similar thing in our home game, Anthony. Like the head of the university had like a really, like he was like over 200 or something like that, but he was a human. Is that right? And the entire time I was like trying to like get information for him of like how this happened, or if we met someone to be like, oh, it's weird, right? Like, oh, he's been around for how long? Like, and people are kind of like, oh yeah, I don't know, I guess it is strange. Turns out made a freaking pact with a demon.
Devil.
And then he himself had some devil in him and became like transformed. And yeah, so you never know what's going to happen with kind of weird age stuff. Just saying, if you hadn't figured it out what was going to happen with that Teni yet, you just got a free plot hook right there. So
Oh no, I have my answers.
Yeah, I'm sure
Steal it
Teni
from
has
Anthony's.
no idea. There's a major plot story.
I just went,
Teni doesn't
too
like to
old.
plan in advance.
Improving the whole thing.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I think particularly when we get to Roll Bar, I'm like terrified that like we're gonna be like, here's this information. Everyone's gonna be like, okay,
Who are you?
you're crazy.
I think
Like-
I think up to this point too, that is still like one of the things I'm so impressed you guys just stumbled upon.
I can't believe, because that was such a like nothing conversation. We were just like batting things around, and all of a sudden we're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense.
Sorry, which part? About him being older?
Cardrec's age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, as a DM, you lay out clues and the players go, what's that over there? But this time it was like, I've started laying down the clues and not trying to put anything out. And you went, that grain of sand is weird.
It was only because I'm 300 years old. It was the only reason that I was like, oh, like he's the same age as me then. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. That's interesting. It never even occurred to me that that was something that like wasn't meant to be like straightforward to us right away. But hey, I'm proud of us anyways. That's fine.
I mean, I just
This-
introduced the guy.
The only thing I feel we've done well is that
I just-
one clue.
Yeah. I mean, you say you just introduced them, but like the three previous players would have had kind of a concept of that being odd. Although I guess they wouldn't. I guess it's meta, but
Exactly.
it does kind of, it's hard to like separate it sometimes, like to keep you from asking the questions. So anyway,
I try very, very hard not to metagame.
yeah, I try, but again, I don't have like the pressure of like having been there before, so that's lucky. All right, Anthony, are you ready? We're getting into it now. So as the parade was drawing to an end, the Cleansing Breath mercenaries appeared along with a green dragon, and Baz leading the pack. How is Draq feeling about seeing his brother again after 2 years?
He's so happy. He missed his bro a lot. And he's also very confused as to why his brother just, didn't say, hey, I'm good. That's a little weird. Especially because correspondence was pretty regular. But after the conversation and after Baz saying like, hey, you can't expect regular updates all the time, that's unreasonable. I'm like, yeah, actually that makes a lot of sense. So he's feeling a little bit better about that, but he still wants to let his parents know that they're both okay, because Draq also realizes that he hasn't told his parents that he's okay.
I was just gonna ask.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because at some point I was gonna have Baz bring this up as well. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, how long have you been out? A month?
Yeah.
Long time?
So, so I think it's going to be a dual letter from the boys to mom and dad.
Aw.
That's nice.
Yeah.
This is just unimportant, but for your own sake, it's been 2 months, because it's been 2 months since Nels left, and we left around the same time. Just so you know.
Cool. Good to know.
Yeah. You kind of answered this a little bit, but
What?
you kind of answered this a little bit, but how do you feel about the reasons that Baz gave? Because I personally find them suspicious, but does Draq not think there's anything kind of going on there at all?
Oh, 100% he's suspicious. For sure. Draq is a very inquisitive mind, and he could tell that obviously Baz is hiding something, vis-a-vis the real reason he's out on this quest and what he's doing with the dragons. But if Baz doesn't want to tell him, he's got to figure out another way to find out.
Did he join a cult?
I don't know if the cleansing breath is considered a cult, but kind of feels like it sometimes. They just hunt and kill dragons. I'm glad that Baz is trying to like change their MO though, of killing dragons, trying to keep them alive. I'm just really worried that this is connected to Draq and that Draq is getting these dragons and is going to use them for something.
Oh, that's a connection I did not anticipate.
Yes.
I don't know who has the cleansing breath in their pocket, so
They are mercenaries.
yeah, someone's got to be paying them.
Question to ask him.
Mm-hmm.
Who
Will you
is
tell
your
me? I don't know.
benefactor? And
Yeah.
is his name Sinric Montaigne or Parson?
I'm gonna need Nell or Gideon to front that one though, because I only have 10 in charisma.
It'd be really
you
funny.
have-
You
He's
gotta
like,
be insightful though, aren't you?
You have younger brother though.
I'm very insightful, so he
Yeah.
can answer, and I will just be like,
Is he lying?
You have younger brother passive.
yeah,
and that
exactly.
You guilt your older sibling.
Yeah, I'm very good at guilting him.
what is the age difference between you guys?
More than 10 years, I think.
Whoa.
Oh, that's
He's like in his 30s.
You're 27 though.
No,
Yeah, aren't you?
That's me.
Oh, that's you. I was like,
I
someone's
think I'm
27.
23. I want to say.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm 27.
Yeah, Baz is 31 years old.
Okay, so less than
Super
10
old
years.
people and some children.
So less than 10 years, but still a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. The other thing I have a question I have for you is it seems that Baz's time away from Daryl Karth kind of like has changed him a decent amount. And now he's less interested in returning home. Which because it seems like to be the case of most of the citizens that they don't really leave the community, right?
That's very true.
Yeah. So one, how does Draq feel about the fact that maybe he just like Baz wouldn't return? And two, does Draq have any fears or worries that being on his own adventure in the world currently might have the same effect on him, like not wanting to go back to his community?
Yeah, Draq is definitely concerned about Baz not wanting to go home. I don't think though that Baz would just never not go home or never go home. I think he would still like go to visit, but I don't think he would ever return to Darrokarth to make it permanent. You know, it'd be more like his usual is out in the world and he vacation at home. For Draq still feels like Darrokarth is home. He's only been gone for a couple months, so maybe. It's hard to say right now.
On that note too, like your main thing for leaving was to find Baz, but now that you have, like, how much of a desire does Draq really have to like stay with the group going forward and not just like go back to Darrokarth permanently?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I was like, why would Draq... Well, he technically has not completed what he set out to do, which is to bring his brother home. And if his brother is not going home, well, Draq certainly can't force him. His brother is a force of will and will not budge on most things. And Draq has kind of signed himself up for bigger things than what originally he asked for. So he can see the imbalance ahead of him and he's got to fix it. It's his duty. So he will do so. And, you know, hopefully over the course of this adventure, he will either convince his brother that he has to go home or, you know, something bad will happen. We'll see.
True. Do you have plans to like fill Baz in on like what we know about the druids and everything? Because it seems like he might have some sort of like information about that as well.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a conversation about that.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about just in terms of like that reunion at all?
I guess question for Denny, because I forgot to ask during the session. Was Baz presenting his symbol of Ishtak?
Interesting question. No, it was not visible on his person.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Is concerning.
So he's a paladin, right? He's a paladin of Ishtak?
Yeah.
Or is he?
Or he
Plot
was.
thickens.
Is he a
Interesting.
oath breaker?
I don't know.
Oh, we shall see.
I don't know. He wasn't showing his symbol though, so that's a no-no.
That's a big uh-oh. Also, one quick thing I just want to say about that whole encounter. Denny, Anthony, you guys are so fucking cool with your draconic language.
Yeah. Well, what is that?
Before
you're
the
just so cool.
campaign started, I did a lot of like translating of kind of small phrases here and there just to create like a backlog of things that Draq could say as an expression or in passing. And
There is like an official like draconic language you can find on the internet.
yeah. So I used that to kind of just make some sentences and phrases and then shared it with Denny and ran with it for when eventually Baz would show up. So
Yeah, y'all are cool.
Yeah,
Thanks.
very, very cool.
It's true. I think we mentioned this after the episode, but I'm just gonna say it so we have it like on record. Denny, you were so impressive. Like, I think he's been doing it for a while, but it was just really cool to see like how like fast you were with just like peppering in all of the phrases. It's like, man, that was really cool.
Well,
So
I've known for quite some time that the encounter with Baz was coming up. So I was like, I gotta like pay attention to how Anthony's using things. Like like I really got to figure out Draq, because of course Baz is his brother. So there's gonna be quite a few similarities in expressions and language that is shared. So I was like, all right, if he's throwing it out this way, I made myself a little cheat sheet and I'm like, these are the important words, these are the phrases, and just throw them in.
Yeah,
Has
you did a
anyone ever
great
told
job.
you that you're the coolest DM?
You guys are sweet.
You're so fucking cool, man.
yeah,
Yeah, you did a great
Why-
job as Baz.
Thank you.
I have a question. Why are you so impressive?
How do I be like you?
Answer it truthfully.
Oh no.
Ugh.
Well, thanks for
I'm a
hanging
shy
out, everyone.
away.
I don't think anything else important
We
happened.
can't do
this
anything without him.
episode.
Now he's gone. We
Yeah.
can say all the things that we wanted to say when he's not there, like how cool he is and
Yeah,
Yeah.
how
really
nice,
nice.
and
love
Yeah.
him.
great storyteller.
Good friend.
You guys
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
so sweet. Stop it. Move on.
Okay. My next question is still for you, but it's more of like in a different style. It's more for me. Baz mentions that the green dragon came from the Tempest Expanse, and apparently a lot of dragons consider the jungles in the region to be their home. This, of course, is very interesting to me and also to Nell, but really to me. And it makes me wonder that, Teni, as a DM, because I currently don't have the experience to know myself, when you provide a piece of lore that's connected to like a region or a certain thing that shares it with another piece of lore, like, is it funny or is it frustrating to you for a player to be like, they're connected for sure? Because obviously I don't know if that they are, like they could be, and then you're just like, perfect. But if they aren't, is it like what's it on like your side of things?
I honestly, I have no opinion on it. Like, you guys will make connections where there are some. You'll make connections where there are none. I'm so used to seeing theories at this point where it's just like,
Really?
I'm
What do you mean?
actually,
Theories?
I feel quite proud of my poker face at this point, because it's like, maybe you guys have hit some things on the head. Maybe you're so far off that I should just be dying of laughter, but I'm just like, you can keep guessing and you'll find out when you find out. But
Yeah.
for me, this was just a fact, and it kind of plays into the, again, more of this world history, because when the desolation began, these dragons came from the Tempest Expanse, moved up into Sicromund, and then took over the continent. So,
Right.
to me, I'm just like, of course there's dragons down there.
True. Okay. All right. We'll see.
Very cool.
That's actually, we kind of talked about this a little bit in game, I think, or afterwards, but like we want to, well, a bunch of like want to ask in game too, like what was happening on the other continents during the desolation, because I'm curious, I'm like, is it the whole thing with like any like YA post-apocalyptic book where it's like, it's in America and it just went to shit, but like every other country is just like actually doing fine and its life is normal? Because that's a prevailing theory for things like the Hunger Games and all of that stuff. So I'm curious, like what if like every other continent just nothing happened bad that was there?
Has there been contact to other continents? Obviously, we as players and characters don't know, but is that something you could tell us?
Ooh,
Back to
intrigue.
the library.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like what is there trade or anything like that? I feel like that's not necessarily a huge secret, is it?
If there is, it is with none of the cities that you guys are currently in, as you've been mostly landlocked.
True.
That's true.
Just gonna
Go
bring
fight
up some
Ghost
maps
Dragon.
really quick.
Gotta go to a port city.
Is
where we're
Brolbar
going
considered
next.
landlocked?
It's kind of landlocked. Like, it's close-ish to the water, but it's not a port city.
Well, honestly, looking at the map, like what would even really be considered the biggest port city? Like,
That fishing village we're
The
gonna go to?
Ganry, we're going to it.
Honestly,
Antelot?
Pentalot, Fort Hale.
Oh, that's true.
Where's Port Hale?
Fort Hale is
Oh, Fort
close
Hale.
by.
Right.
Was
But,
Fort
like-
Hill like a city, or is it just like a big fortress?
I think it's like a fortress, isn't it?
Oh,
We can
the-
ask Baz.
The Misty Grotto.
You could ask Bash.
Although, because I'm thinking like mainly I'm looking along like the eastern coast, because like a good chunk of continents are like more to the east, and it doesn't like necessarily seem to me.
Yeah, you're right.
Danny, I hope if you can in this moment just like throw up a map so it's not just us looking at our screens intently.
oh, sorry, you
Oh.
mean in post?
Like in the edit for everyone else, because I'm just like staring at a map.
Yeah, sure. I thought you meant for my sake. I'm like, no, I'm looking at my map.
Future Denny.
Yes.
You know what your world looks like, Denny?
Yeah.
Great.
Can you pull
Good
that up?
shapes.
Anyway,
Make a note to myself.
that's something we'll figure out about later. Anywho, let us discuss the magic contest. Here it comes. Firstly, a massive shout out to Denny again.
Mhm.
Wow,
Who'd have thought?
weird. Yeah, I was really impressed with how you repurpose. I did never play the Pokemon game, and I don't think I ever will because it sounds god awful. But it's like it sounds. You guys are. It's like really complex apparently, and I'm not. I can't. My brain can't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really impressed that you repurpose it into this awesome magic event that we all got to be really stressed out about for like 2 hours.
Speak up for yourself. I was flying.
Yeah,
I was
I
having a
was
great time.
having like
Okay.
me, the player, no stress at all.
Ugh,
That's nice.
I wish I could relate to that. I just like the entire time
Oh.
I just wish I was a wizard. Like,
Wish I was as cool as you.
yeah.
I was not hanging in there.
I always
did
wish I was a
great.
wizard.
Yeah.
You did everything I wanted you to do, Ryan.
I tried so hard.
It was perfect.
I mean,
I was-
you guys won, so yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with all of you.
Aw. Stop.
Just put on my Guy Fieri glasses and just started flavoring.
And
Took
I
y'all
knew-
straight
I
to
knew you
Flavor
could do
Town. Yeah.
One of the questions I have is, Danny, now that you've seen like the contest in action, is there anything that you would want to like modify if you were to do it again?
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, like, we are like immediately going into the game. I forgot about an element, appeal dice. I was like, you know what? We're past it. I'm throwing it out. We don't need it. So that, like, immediately I'm like, okay, no, this is good. I think I would either throw out fumble points or WoW, probably fumble points before WoW, and then change some of the contest effects to instead affect WoW. Less
Yeah.
less points, I guess, to keep track of. And yeah.
Fumble points did literally lose Logan
I was
and
gonna say, I don't think we
first
should get rid
place
of the
though.
fumble
So
points.
But I would alter the contest effects to do similar things, but going to WoW instead, or just being like, make somebody lose appeal points right now, like just getting rid of
rather than
a
later.
different
Okay.
thing to keep track of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really fair.
That makes sense. We heard a bit from Dallas and Ryan, but how did everyone feel about like how the pairings worked out? Because I think it was kind of cool for like seeing like Elowen and Gideon, and then Azaria and Draq, as it's like those are kind of pairings that haven't really like happened just like as one-on-ones so far in the campaign. So I was really a big fan of that. But
Yeah, I was a
What
big
did you
fan of
guys
that too.
Hmm. Me, the
Yeah.
player, I wanted to be paired with Draq because I felt he had the most spells. I was like, we need a wide variety.
Yeah. I
He's
did
got a
have
wide variety.
I did,
Yeah.
Pretty wide variety.
And he can just ask God. He's like, hey, God, I need a different variety today.
Yeah,
that
man.
does
Help me out.
help.
Prepared
useful.
spells.
Yep.
that made me so mad. One of the things I want to know from everyone is just like something you wish you had done different, or like a favorite moment. For me, I just like, again, this is why I wish I was playing my fucking wizard, because I don't have access to a lot of different spells, and so I bought too many spell scrolls that didn't even come into play. And then the ones I bought, I feel like, I mean, it worked out the way it worked out. It's fine, and like ultimately, like I wasn't using that money on anything, so now I just have them for the future. But oh yeah, it's just like a bummer. It's just like I wish I had a different array of spells than what I have.
That actually does remind me. Hail of Thorns should have never been usable by you, but it was so cool how you flavored it. I was like, we're letting it happen. Because it's
Why?
only a ranger spell, and they were selling bardic and wizard spells.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fair. I just went on my own, was looking up like spell by level, I think, like by school, and so I just kind of did that.
No, but yeah, in the application of like the contest, it was like, well, of course, I was letting you guys get in the way with tons of shit. It was just
Yeah,
like,
which I
it's all
appreciate it.
for flavor. This is so freaking cool.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, I loved everybody's like different ways of flavoring their spells. I think it was a good exercise in that, and
Yeah.
we're probably going to see it a lot more, like in
Yeah.
actual combat, which I love. And I loved Logan being my protector. It was very nice. I love right out the gate. You were like, "Fuck these guys up, do it!" Just instantly disrupt. I was like, "Yes."
Like,
Yeah.
it felt so safe there. There was only one person who could affect us, I think, at that point. I was like, disrupt
It
now.
was a perfect call.
True. I like that. Like the first one that you did, Adam, for me was like defend. And I was like, that felt really on character for like what Abe would have done. And I was like,
It worked out because both the people next to us were
yeah,
like, let's mess
it
them up.
was so choice. It was like, oh my god, terrifying. Because that would have been, what was it? It's like a massive
A
disruption or
massive
something.
disruption. Yeah, you would have rolled 3 less dice that turn.
I already don't think I rolled very many as it is, so that would have been bad. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go around the circle, starting with Dallas. A favorite moment from the contest and thing maybe you wish you had changed, and if nothing, great. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, like even though this was kind of like a fluffy kind of little side thing, I actually think Elowen winning this contest is really good for Elowen. I actually think this is really good. Cause like this is a thing that Elowen it's not her forte. And I was thinking about it afterwards, and she figured out a way to like adapt the contest into a way that she felt comfortable doing it, which was like putting Gideon center stage and being like, I'm just gonna stay back here and you're gonna be the one everyone's looking at. And it worked out. And like things don't normally work out for her. So I actually think that this was really good for her, kind of in general.
I want to interject because we, with this contest and how complex it was, I designed these rules, or translated these rules more accurately, like a week prior, sent it to you guys and went, have a look at this, try and understand it. And a few of you were like, I don't know how I justify getting my character involved in this, but we'll play because it's a fun thing to do. And I brought up to you guys, like, something I would do is like, just do it and then justify it afterwards. And I feel like you really just did that. Like, that is I'm so glad you guys do it or played the game, and I'm so glad it is now applicable to your character.
Yeah, I still, I don't think it really is super in character for her to have been excited about it in the first place.
No.
But I think that we did it and that it worked out this way is very good for her self-esteem. And I think it's also the first time that she's used, well, I guess maybe not, but like the first time she's used magic in like a non-combat scenario as well. And so it's actually like also just kind of like, oh, like magic can be fun. Like we can do like other stuff, you know? This doesn't have to be a traumatizing experience every time I do this. Great. So I don't think there was anything I didn't like about the contest. I think it all just was really good.
I think you and I might have had a similar like in character experience, because it's how I felt kind of too, like getting to do spells and like flavor them in that way. Also felt like, oh, it was cool to like do it in a safe place without the concern that I would like, you know, really hurt someone. So that was really cool. And I didn't have any surges because it was kind of like hard to, because I couldn't use Tides of Chaos for anything. And I think the highest I cast was a first. So it's like to roll a 1 on a d20 is not super easy if you're trying for it. So yeah, I would agree with that. All right, Anthony.
I loved, I think I already said this, but everyone's flavor. It was like we were making art with our magic. Like we were painting these beautiful pictures with through our spellcraft, and it was just freaking awesome. I think there was one description, I'm sorry I don't remember who it was, but they basically, I think it might have been Teni with the tiefling character who lit the entire warded area on fire.
Yeah.
So it was like
that was
we
cool.
were surrounded by fire. I freaking loved that. That was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big lover of spellcasting classes, and I've always tried to incorporate like huge flavor description in my spells. And I was like, I want to kind of rub off on you guys, so I only wanted to have one fight in the contest because it was like, let's provide example, but also Imagineer and Barnaby right off the hop with the Conjuration school that got chosen. I was not prepared for that school, so I was immediately out of the running. Like, it was just flavor.
That's okay. As for something I wish had gone differently, I don't really think there was one. I think it was just a great time all around. I think it was another good bonding moment, not just for Rhea and Draq, but for the whole party to kind of see each other have fun doing magic and working as a team together.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think it's going to be playing in nicely, like especially like the fact that Academy, like me and Abe paired together, like it's playing it nicely, like to our eventual like tactic discussion that I think is going to be like upcoming probably next episode if we end up leaving Valenbridge by then. Because yeah, I think it's this whole past like in-game week, I think has been very good to like cement like our group bond going forward, which is important. So
yeah.
We needed it for sure.
Yeah, it's getting way harder for me to justify sacrificing any of you to break this curse.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. And also, I guess I'm sorry that it's so difficult for you. Out of curiosity, who was first to go? If you like,
I don't want to answer that question.
So you have an answer.
It was probably me.
No, it was nobody.
It was probably Abe.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but
I didn't want to say it
when
either.
we said Gideon, she was like, no, when we say Abe, she's just quiet.
I guess it is like he did bisect someone in front of you, so
That's fair.
yeah.
A little bit of trauma there.
Yeah, fair enough. Logan, favorite moment?
Favorite moment? I think it was like shattering the spikes that Draq had made. Being able to like be like, oh, here's
so
my thing
cool.
actually enhancing what you did. And I wouldn't change anything. I was gonna say, oh, not winning first place, but I got the best magic item. I have a jar full of mayonnaise. I was thinking that what I should have done though at the very end was like for our winners, I should have made it like wine or beer and like poured it on Gideon like a sports like thing.
Like shake it up like champagne.
Oh yeah, just
That'd been awesome.
You're
Just the way that I
muted.
kept saying that Abe takes a potion. Just douse yourself with it. It'd be so funny. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, Ryan, go.
Oh.
Ryan, go. Come on.
I
Ryan,
guess if
go.
you want to talk, Ryan.
Fuck. Holy. My favorite moment, like character-wise for Gideon would have been when he put up the protective rune and sort of gave the reins over to Elowin for the last round. Because to me that was like, I know you and I haven't talked much, but I trust you. That was the sort of signal I was trying to send with that in the RP. So that was my favorite moment. Something I wish I would have done differently was during the poker game flavor. What I said at the end, I wish I said to you, sir, to the person next to me. And I wish I dealt it to the other competitors as opposed to the audience. But my brain was just so deep in Flavor City that I just didn't think logically. So, it just didn't happen.
Never go so deep into Flavor City.
Oh, I went there.
It's a dangerous place.
Yeah.
Very
There's no
bad
public
signage.
transit there. So that's that. But I loved the whole thing. Everyone did such a good job.
Adam.
I really enjoyed that it was a very communal creative experience that felt like it was as in-depth as you wanted it to be, at least as a ward. I could have sat there and just defended every round. If I was like, oh, I'm not feeling creative, I don't know how to turn cantrips into anything interesting, like I could have just kind of let other people do the things. So I like that it was had a lot of choice in how much or how little we could each interact with. Obviously it's different being the main spellcaster. And it was just nice as a group of players and people to be creative with each other for a while.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of things that I would do differently, in terms of the game sequence, like the mini game, I think defending the second round took Nell and Abe out of the running. Because I didn't do anything. I didn't get us any wow. I didn't get us any points. Like, it was pretty, after the fact, I was like, I think we lost because of that. That's the only reason. Not because anybody else rolled better.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, I think, because like there's almost like two games going on at once. Like for the wards, you're essentially just playing like Prisoner's Dilemma, which is in its own right like a hard game to like predict like what other people are going to do.
I did base that on that. Yeah.
And then like that's the main spellcaster, like in a way it's a lot easier because it truly is just kind of like, do I have a spell prepared for this? No. Okay, what's the next closest option? So it's not quite comparable in that sense. So
I think if I had all my spells printed out and in front of me, it would have been okay. But just like the frantic clicking back and forth between documents, being like, wait, which were I wrote down like the ones that went together and how many of each spell I had, but then going back through and being like, okay, I have 3 abjuration spells in here somewhere. Which 3 were they and what level can I cast them at? Are they cantrips? What did I do here? Okay, none of these work. So what are the other options I have? Okay, where are the divination ones? It was like anytime I feel like I didn't get to hear as much of what other people was doing as well because I was frantically like clicking through all my spells trying to figure out what I was going to do on my turn as well.
I don't even remember half of the flavor that I did myself because
exactly.
right after I did it, I was like, okay, what the fuck do I do next?
Now what's going on?
I will say, as someone who plays like a primary spellcaster in like the home game, which is the game I've been in the longest because it's been over 3 years, like if you like go forward being a spellcaster, I do find it way easier to like have like those cards or to have like, something like tactile, because that's what I did for this, is that I wrote it out in my book of like each school and like what I had out, because it's easier to see it all in one place, because it gets to the point like it would be probably less so for you and I and Draq, I think, potentially. I don't know what they're like higher levels, but like for a wizard, for instance, it's like you get like I think at any given time currently I have like 27 spells available to me to use. there's no way. Like I would absolutely not be able to use like the D&D Beyond interface for that at all. Like I need to have them like laid out in a grid to be able to like comprehend it. So
Yeah.
you'll have to see like going forward if like you end up needing like more. But again, I don't know what like Warlock is like. high
Yeah,
levels,
I mean,
but-
my spells are static as well, so they're the same ones that always exist. I don't have to think,
True.
I kind of know what they all do, but I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know all
fair.
their spell schools off the top of my head. That was the problem, is I had to keep figuring that
Yeah.
out.
This game is definitely a game that requires having multiple monitors.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, 2
I
monitors
don't
wasn't
have
enough.
a second monitor. I'm really sad. I wish I did. I'm trying to figure out getting a new desk, and then maybe I can like upgrade my D&D zone. That's my dream.
I do
So-
kind of wonder for the wards in this game if the best course of action is to enhance every turn, though.
That's what I was thinking.
I kind of realized that halfway through. I was like, I think it's better if we just constantly enhance.
Because
Yeah.
you're rolling dice, you're getting points.
Yeah, I mean, and you
Yeah.
might, lose a die roll from someone beside you, but the cantrips normally do at least 2d6 plus other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I feel like it's better to just keep enhancing.
Yeah, and even before we started playing it, I was like, this is kind of a trap. Like, yes, I knew immediately enhancing was the best course of action, but players like to get spicy, so they would start attacking each other. I think to
Yeah.
remedy this, I would double the amount of dice values for attacking.
I think that would make it a lot more complicated,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
roll 2 less massive,
Yeah.
roll 5 less perhaps.
Yeah.
Like, it would be huge.
Yeah, I think that would add kind of like more of like a stake.
Like fully negate an action from a main caster, basically.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, mass
Yeah.
disruptions, you don't roll any dice.
I think I would still allow a minimum of 1, but I don't
No
yeah.
mercy.
like
Yeah,
that
that's
would
fair.
be that would
That
be
would be
very massive
very-
to just remove an action.
Strike first, strike hard, no surrender.
That would mean that person probably doesn't
That would be a
keep
guaranteed
playing.
loss.
You
probably.
know? Yeah, like you're not.
Yeah.
I would definitely want
do it
to
for the flag.
play this again with those changes in mind
Mm-hmm.
and just like try it.
Oh, what do you know? There's another competition tomorrow.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, then I hope you weren't planning on the story progressing next time.
We're actually going to make our living off of just doing these magic competitions.
The world,
We're
it's
just
gonna
become
end.
performers.
We're just magic performers now.
I would be really interested in like doing it again, but like maybe like off stream even, like specifically like I want to play it with my wizard character just to see what it's like to have like the spell autonomy, and like if everyone else like wanted to like I don't know make up different characters or bring someone else in, I think that'd be really interesting just to see how else like it can play out, and at like a higher level potentially, like a higher level character as well. So
Because you could also do it. You technically don't need a DM for that.
that's true.
That's
Yeah.
true.
This is
Maybe
true.
I'll run
Get
that
out of
for
here,
fun.
Danny. We don't need you anymore.
This thing too, like that's not. It's kind of like related to the contest, just in terms of like needing to know like spell schools and stuff. Like I think like playing like Nal has really like brought it to my attention that like it is like a weird kind of like thing because I have to be like playing in character of like not knowing like names of spells and all these things that you take for granted as a player, like role playing like a magic level up, and like what does that mean and how do you learn abilities, because it's like it is just kind of like part of the mechanical side that you don't have to like put any weight into. But it's really like almost annoying me in a sense that I have to keep being like, I don't know what this is because I know. And it's like, but she doesn't. Like I've
My
dug my own
hands
grave.
burn and
No.
fire comes out. What would you call that?
What is that about? And so I'm
Dragon's breath.
So I'm slowly letting that like drop away a little bit in certain things of just because it's I don't know. It's annoyingly complicated that in a way that doesn't necessarily like need to be, I think, but I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
a good
could
lesson.
also always flavor it that, we did do focus research at the library, but you could also say, you went to the library, you learned about magic. You could drop that part where it's like, oh, I don't know spells.
I mean,
Well,
Because-
that's kind of
And
what
you bought a
I was
book?
doing with the book that I purchased of being
the
like,
textbook.
oh, okay, now I know what spells are. Like it's
We're level 5. I've learned what spells are.
it just really bugs me because I'm like, I just feel like I don't know. It was a choice I made, and it's one of those things like you make it because you think it's interesting, and then in
Yeah.
playing it, you're like, this irritates me. So
yeah,
Well-
that's totally fine.
Yeah.
originally when I made Draq, I was thinking like, oh, he's not gonna speak common. He's just gonna speak Draconic,
God.
and Nell will have to translate. And then I was like, no, that's a horrible idea. Actually, Draq needs to have
It's
a personality.
good idea.
It's one of those things. Like I think that would be fine for a home game,
Yeah,
but because we're
Yeah.
televised or putting this on the internet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be able to perform a little bit more.
exactly.
Yeah.
kind of the same thing with Abe, to be honest.
Yeah, because you started out like basically one words, and you grew quickly to relearn your language. And I thought that was a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
What
you
I'm hearing
conveyed-
is, don't make my next character a Kenku.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
no, just make them a
certain...
Kenku with a lot of already heard words.
Yeah. There's certain things that like doing things as a gimmick, like regardless of how much like time and energy you put in behind it, at a certain point it just like hits like a wall of like it's not fun to play. I think like certain things can be like really fun as like maybe like a one-off or like a 3 session thing, you know? But when you're getting fucking episode 20, it's like I'm tired of fucking around. So yeah.
I just want to be good. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to be good. Like, God.
With Kenku, there's a lot
Story
of
of my life.
potential.
Don't worry, Logan. It's passed to Ryan now. Ryan's the cursed one.
Yeah, I am the cursed one now. Yeah, sorry, just one quick thing with Kenku. There's a lot of potential there because, like, you have to think, like, they mimic everything they hear, right? So when they say something like, I'm scared, or like, get away from me, or something like that, like, what situation were they in when they heard that? And who said that to them? Or if there's any sort of, like, picking a fight or anything like that, like, what situation were they in? And it's just, like, the potential for backstory is endless, depending on what quotes you use as that character.
And then you could also go back through all the episodes, cut the audio up into clips of things that people said, have it on a soundboard and hit those.
Yeah.
So instead of me talking, I would just be like, all the time.
Have we
a
talked about this
nightmare.
before, Logan? I feel like this is a conversation we've had about like wanting to like play a Kenku in that way, but it would be like really complicated. Like
I have to play a Kenku now. I have a board. I can use it. I'll do it.
I think that would be really funny. It would it'd be so hard to do, but like to like just like have like pre-recorded phrases. Oh man. Yeah.
For a one-off one day.
We've got a lot of one-offs planned, so we'll have to start writing those scripts out. As we do with every episode of Play Dicely. Anyways, I'm out of questions, so
Bye, guys.
see you later.
Wait, I have a question.
Great.
Yeah.
How did we make it through an opening ceremony and a parade and nothing blew up?
I know.
was so ready for so much shit to
Yeah.
happen and nothing has happened and it's stressing me out.
Nothing bad happens at a festival.
That's
That is
true.
factually
You're doing it
incorrect.
to me too at our home game. There's too many festivals and no shit is happening at any of them.
I feel like someone's going to break that dragon free,
Yeah.
and shit's gonna hit the fan.
Yeah, that's
Me.
what I'm
gonna do it.
predicting also.
Baz
No.
has to have enemies in
Oh,
cleansing
for
breath.
sure.
there's got to be
He's
people who
being
are like, no,
groomed
we
for
have to keep,
leadership.
yeah,
Uh-huh. That's a target on your
And he's-
back, brother.
pro live dragon.
Yeah.
It's gonna be somebody
Man.
who just unlocks
I'm just
the
sad
thing.
that when that dragon inevitably comes to kill everyone, I'm not going to be here.
We'll just do more magic competitions till you get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, just 2 sessions of only magic competition.
We're gonna perfect this magic competition.
I mean, hey, we got barrel racing, we got trick shots, we got stuff to keep us busy.
We can talk about our feelings.
Yeah.
I
We're
do.
It's
really
true.
good
If
at
we
that.
just keep talking, nothing
That's
can
like
ever
10
happen.
sessions right there.
I could
That
fill an
is-
entire like session with just me asking questions in character of all of you. So just if you need that from me, just let me know because I can deliver for sure.
Why do you think she made this show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I'm actually like being like, I try to keep this very targeted, but if this was like me actually running this show, it would just be like singling out like, okay, today Dallas is in the hot seat, and it's just like all of my questions.
But we know that it would be every day would just be Adam in the hot seat.
Look, it's not my fault. Okay.
Adam's fault.
I think it was Danny you called me out about this, like not in front of any of these people, but like I was talking about how like I read a lot of books that like I like the death like element character like in like Discworld and other books, and you were like, oh, that's why you're like interested in Abe as a character. I'm like, oh, maybe.
How dare you?
I'm like, oh, that makes sense, I guess. Like,
How dare you
Yeah.
enjoy Adam's character? How dare you?
yeah, you're right. Fuck me. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us as we discussed our thoughts and feelings and failures and fuck ups about this past episode, Reunion and Revelry. If you have any questions or you want to at me about something that I said here that was problematic, you can do so on my Twitter at CPKClo,
Come
or
at
even
me.
email me if you have like a longer message that you want to write, and it's at cpkclo@gmail.com. That's all for us, and we invite you to join us next time on Play Dicely After Party. See you later.
Thank you, Tabletop Audio.